Welcome to Beyond the Scoreboard, episode 7. We're back another day, another time for us to talk about some sports. We got the NFL, college football, and some NBA stuff to talk about today. First, we'll start off with who is the wide receiver one in Denver? Courtland Sutton and Jerry Jeudy, two top receivers. First impressions of Anthony Richardson in the preseason. What should the Seahawks and 49ers expectations be this season? And who is your favorite player from the first full week of the preseason? And then who is the favorite in the AFC East? Then we'll head into college football, where we got who is a sleeper team, and we'll each give one team that we think could be great this season that's not expected to be. Who wins the Big Ten? How good will a talented Ole Miss squad be? And who will be the best running back in the country? Finally, we'll end it out with the NBA potential breakout candidates this season. NBA Central said to get rid of one defender. So we'll start off. Who is the wide receiver one for the Denver Broncos in 2023?
Give me Jerry Jeudy. I mean, I know the last couple of years, like Sutton and all that, but I mean, if you watch the end of the season with the Denver Broncos, I mean, they finished kind of on a strong note, kind of when everyone already, I mean, when it was already when they were only had like 4 wins, but no one really was paying attention. But in those last couple games, last 3-4 games, Jeudy was the number one, and he was getting most of the targets and touchdowns, and his stats in his first half stats was terrible. Only like one touchdown in like 15 games, and that one touchdown was in week 1. So from like 2 to week 14, he literally had no touchdowns. But in those last like 3 weeks, he had about 3 touchdowns. So I think he's gonna carry that on into the start of the season.
Uh, I think most people will take Judy, and I think a part of that is just because of how high he was picked and his expectations coming into Denver. But I would have to go Courtland Sutton. I just think personally he's more consistent. Uh, his years of having over 1,000 yards, I mean, those are like really good years. And plus, Judy, I mean, he's a great route runner, but his catching skills is not like he drops the ball a lot. Like he's open a lot, he drops the ball a lot. He's not great at catching in traffic. He's a great run after catch receiver, but I just think Cortland, I think his catch radius is way bigger. So a lot of his targets are going to be easier to pull in. I think he'll have more touchdowns. I think Judy gets more receptions. I think he's like Diggs. I think it'll be like a Dig and AJ Brown. Kind of like I saw a stat, like Diggs had like 20 more receptions than AJ Brown, but AJ Brown had more receiving yards by like 50 or not. And I think Diggs had more touchdowns, but I think Diggs just get a lot more targets, which I think the case will be for Jerry Jeudy. But I think Courtland Sutton will make more out of his catches. I think
You
he'll have
think you
more
think
big
AJ
plays.
Brown's better than Diggs though, or no?
I wouldn't say so because I think
It's not
it's
even close.
yeah. I wouldn't say he still at today. I wouldn't say Diggs cleared AJ Brown, but Diggs is still better. I think Diggs has just been so consistent for so many years, and he's done it with multiple quarterbacks that makes it hard to just like. I mean, AJ Brown had like a couple thousand receiving yards with Titans and now with the Eagles, so he's proven he can do it with different quarterbacks also. But no, Diggs has just been like too consistent, and Diggs was like a fourth round pick. So Diggs has made the most of his career, I think, and I think he has a lot more left. But personally, I don't know. Like I said, I think Judy's a great route runner. He's a great he'll be great as of in PPR for catches, but I don't think he'll have a lot of deep balls or a lot of over the top plays because he doesn't
Yeah,
catch
and
that
I
well.
think the thing that makes this the most intriguing topic is that so last season both of them didn't play full years, like 67 receptions for Jerry Jeudy, 972 and 6 touchdowns. And then on the other side, Courtland Sutton 64 receptions, 829 yards and 2 touchdowns. So it's like they didn't have their full seasons. They didn't play to like that top level caliber and they're very similar in stats. So with Russell Wilson hopefully having a better season, it'll be interesting to see how those two develop and continue their young careers. And so, talking about young careers, we got Anthony Richardson got his first in-game action a week ago, and then another time this week. So, and one of the things I saw in the headlines is Michael Pittman believes he's Hall of Fame bound. I wanted you to get your guys' takes on Anthony Richardson going into his rookie season.
I think Colts fans have a lot to look forward to with him. I mean, I think he's gonna blossom into the league very well, and I think he's fits that perfect. Like he's perfect, like new generation quarterback that you want. That that can make those explosive plays, can get out of tough situations, can give you those extra yards and like create that playmaking aspect, everything. I think this first year though is kind of be a lot of kind of how Josh Allen's first year was, where a lot of interceptions, but you kind of saw like, all right, like just he needs to get more comfortable out there. He didn't play a lot in college, so he doesn't have too much experience. But I think once he gets that like kind of a year under his belt, I think the Colts are going to get better as a team, and I don't think they're going to have a very good year this year. So I think they'll get a top 5 pick in the NFL this year. So they can keep building around him, and I honestly think he's going to be in like 3 years. He's going to be. I think he has a good chance to be around that in those MVP talks and be up there with guys like Allen, Herbert, Jalen Hurts, and guys like that. Not saying he's going to be Patrick Mahomes, but I think he can be around where Josh Allen is.
Yeah, to piggyback off what McKay was saying, yeah, him not having a lot of experience over at Florida, I think that'll make him go through a lot of growing pains, and he'll get a lot of criticism, and he'll be in a lot of sports, especially during the season. He'll be in a lot of sports programs, and he's going to be getting criticized a lot. He's maybe even go as far as like getting benched at some point in his first season, but I think he's like perfect for like the modern day QB, the legs, the power of the arm, throws really hard, and I think as long as the Colts keep good weapons around him, I think he'll figure it out. If he ends up in a Lamar situation where like he's just so good that like him not having receivers, it's like doesn't affect his career that much because Lamar has never played with great receivers, but he's just so talented that haven't like diminished his career that much. But I think if that happens for Anthony Richardson, that would hurt him a lot more because I don't think he has as good a football IQ as Lamar. But I think if they put the right pieces around him, I think they'll be good. I like Alec Pierce a lot. Michael Pittman, obviously. And like McCabe said, they'll probably be back this year, end up with a top pick next year. So that'll help them add more pieces. But they definitely got something to look forward to. Bright future for sure. Defense is always pretty good.
And you gotta hope that Jonathan Taylor's coming back at some point this season, and they hope that it's not a trade situation because that backfield with Jonathan Taylor and Anthony Richardson in a few years should want to be one of the best in the entire league. So
It'd be a great 1-2 punch.
yeah, and speaking of another up and coming quarterback, had a rough start to his career, Geno Smith has been on the upswing as of late, got a massive new deal, and the Seahawks have a great defense already, great cornerbacks, and great receivers, and they added Jackson Smith and Jigba. What are your guys' expectations for the team in the northwest of the United States?
I think he personally should. I think off the new contract, I think he'll be worth it. I mean, it's kind of old, obviously. Like that's not the ideal contract for like someone going into like their 11th year and 32 years old. But like he has the weapons, he knows the offense, he has the coach. Like I don't think it'll be bad. I think they only get better. I think the defense is always going to be pretty solid. So I think they can make some noise for sure, especially in their division. Like, I mean, it's a tough one, but like they can for sure make some noise.
Yeah, I think Seattle, I mean, I think they're kind of in a tough situation. I think they're kind of right. We're kind of like where the Vikings are with their team. Like they don't have their quarterback that's going to take them to a Super Bowl or even I don't even think they can even get a playoff win. I don't know. I mean, they have good weapons. I like their defense a lot. I think they just need I think when their defense gets a little bit older, I think, and then they need to find I mean, I think if you're a Seattle fan, you want to hope you go 0-17, so then you can get that first overall pick, or even just get top
You
five
want them
pick.
you want them to go 0-17, Seattle.
I think if I was a Seattle fan, that's what I would want. I mean, you're not going to do
They're
anything.
they're
With
challenging for the division this year. I will put that right now. The Seattle
Yeah.
Seahawks are
No
going to be challenging for the
chance.
division.
Gabe, you're
Week
tweaking.
15, they will be 2
No
games, if not 1 game out.
chance.
They're
There is a
competing.
chance.
Dude, they have the weapons, they have the defense,
Dude, they have
the
one of
corner.
they have one of if not the best like tied for the best roster other than like just talent wise, like that team is one of the most talented
They
in their
brought
division.
Bobby back. Like I get it, he's not peaked anymore or anything like that, but he
No,
knows the
I
system.
like their secondary a lot. Their secondary is scary. I like that a lot.
Their
I don't
linebackers are
think
good too.
Linebackers are
they
good.
don't have like
They have a okay, do you think Geno Smith or Brock Purdy's better?
I'm
Geno,
taking.
Geno
I'm
Smith.
taking Geno Smith
Yeah,
every single
I'm
day of the
taking
week.
Geno Smith for sure.
That should be all you need on offense because they both have great weapons. So that's pretty much looking like I'd say that
Well,
the
okay. Well, they couldn't even compete with the Niners last year. They couldn't
yes, and
compete.
now they have a whole year together. Like Geno Smith threw for like 500 yards
They
the
were
year
Okay, and
before
so do
that.
the Niners. The Niners have a whole year together too.
That's
And Brock
true.
Purdy's thrown 15 interceptions and is coming off one of the worst arm injuries you can go through.
I know, but they're better than Seattle.
Yes,
They have CMC.
I think they're better than Seattle. They could sweep them, but also the thing is they could be 1 or 2 games away from the Niners come the end of the year and be
Seattle's not going to
challenging
be.
for.
You're not going to be in a position of getting the first pick next year. Like,
Yeah, there's no way
talking
if you're a
about your
fan of that team, you're not saying we're making the playoffs this year. They're definitely a team that thinks they have chance
They
to
have.
make the
They need
playoffs.
to. I think best case for them is getting one of those top quarterbacks coming out of this draft, like Drake May or.
Well, that's everybody. Like everyone wants one of those top 3
I know,
quarterbacks.
but I mean, as a Steelers fan, I don't. I think we're fine. We're in a great
Okay.
position right
the
now.
I'd
Seahawks
rather
will be
have
better.
Caleb
We have our
Williams
quarterback.
than Kenny
The
Pickett.
Seahawks
I'd
will
rather have
spank the
Caleb
Steelers.
Williams.
The Seahawks will
We have our
spank the Steelers.
quarterback.
Okay.
The Seahawks will spank the Steelers.
No chance.
Yes, they would. But we move on. The other team in the division that we were talking about before. Who do you guys think is the quarterback come to the end of the season for the 49ers?
It'll be Brock Purdy, and it will stay Brock Purdy. I think he's just super consistent. It's hard to. I mean, I know he's looked terrible in practice, like all the interceptions and everything, but I mean, I don't know. I think he'll be fine. Like
I'm just the reason I bring it up is that like Shanahan's been shown that he's not scared to move on to the next guy. Like
yeah,
they
no.
brought in Sam Darnold. Darnold's looked good in practice and during the preseason games, and Lance has been average. And if
Lance
you see,
was terrible in the first game.
but he was good in the second game. Like and in the first game, he had barely any time half of those plays. Like 2 of the sacks, he wasted too much time in the pocket. But I digress. But either way, I think that there's 3 guys that are going to be competing for that starting job throughout the year if Brock Purdy has a rough game. Like I think that Shanahan could really start thinking about it. He has a rough 2 weeks that he has 3 guys in that room that he could play every week.
Who else besides Trey Lance?
Trey
who else?
Lance, Sam Darnold, and
Oh.
Brock Purdy. Like those 3 guys, I feel like aren't that far
Young
apart.
guys.
Because it's an offense where you don't
Yeah,
need
they're not far apart. I mean, I think Lance is by far the worst one. By far. Oh my God.
I don't think it's.
Dude.
I wouldn't say by far, but I think right now, yes, I'd rather have the other 2 to start in my offense because of the fact that I just think Trey Lance needs time in games to be in a situation where he learns I can't just stay in the pocket for 5 to 10 seconds. I have to be able to move and I have to be able to make a read early.
He moves the best. He probably doesn't make the read the best, but he moves the best out of the 3.
Yeah, but every game he's played in, he takes
D.
4 or more sacks. Like
he's the worst quarterback on the team right now. He's
right.
not a good quarterback.
Like every preseason game he's played, he had 4 sacks in the first half of his first preseason game against the Raiders.
He needs to get traded and just get into it, just kind of reset. I think.
That's my idea. Is like why don't if I'm the Falcons, dude, I'm looking at that as like if Ritter struggles, bro, let me get a.
Or even the Vikings.
No,
after Kirk,
I don't think he'd work with us. I think he needs a good running back because the system that they run in the Falcons, where your quarterback can be mobile and run, like is a lot better. Like
the good running back, they got CMC.
No, I'm talking about the Vikings. When he said the Vikings are good, like,
but you're saying Trey Lance needs a good running back. He's on a team with like one of the best running backs in the NFL.
But he needs a change of scenery is my thing. Like, I don't think this team in general has put enough faith and trust into him. Like, I think both of them have lost confidence in each other, and it's just better to separate. But
I think he actually would have turned off pretty good last year if it wasn't for the injuries. The first game, it was a shitty Bears game with the weather. Second game, he snapped his ankle. I think because I think that's when he had his confidence. I think he would have.
He hasn't showed anything in preseason.
Bro.
I mean, I don't know about nothing, but
dude, well, nothing like
yes,
he showed 3 first-round picks.
No, he showed a lot of immaturity, and the fact that he hasn't gotten a lot of like actual chances though in the NFL. Like, dude, okay, so we see what happens with Zach Wilson his first year. He's completely written off. He gets a quarterback in Aaron Rodgers, and now everyone's saying he's going to be their future quarterback after Rodgers is gone in 2 years. That's what the Jets' plan is.
Bro.
That's what the Jets' plan is to put Wilson in after 2 or 3 years with Rodgers. So people's opinions can change over time, and I think they will on Lance in a few years. But getting to you guys' last thing for McKay, but your favorite player from the preseason so far. We've seen a number of games this weekend. More will go on tonight and last weekend. Who's your favorite so far?
For me, so I mean, I haven't really watched much of it, but I have watched the Steelers. So like, for me, I think the biggest takeaway from that, I really, really love Nick Herbig. Like, he's been a monster in both the games he's played. Forced fumble in both the games he's played. The first game he had a sack and a half. The game yesterday against the Bills, he forced a fumble on a sack, and he did the most crazy athletic move, dip under the tackle. Like, I think he's an immediate impact playmaker. His first year as a rookie, like, the Steelers' outside linebacker depth is insane this year, and I just really like him and what he's shown. And that's not me just being a Steelers fan saying that. Like, I mean, you can watch his highlights from the games, and you'll be like, damn, they got a dude. And then also another one is Calvin Austin. He's from Memphis.
Dude, he's been insane this preseason.
Calvin
yeah,
Austin.
Calvin Austin has been.
He was a rookie last year, but was hurt all year, so he couldn't play. Yeah. And now he's finally playing, and he's been just explosive play after over and over. Almost had a punt return touchdown yesterday. He had a 75-yard touchdown against the Bucs in the first preseason game. He's just been making plays after plays. Like, he's gonna be scary, and he's gonna be a problem.
Yeah, and I think mine is one that would have been like the number one pick had he not had that situation off the field. But mine's Jalen Carter. Like, he showed it like from the first snap that he had in preseason that he's a game wrecker in the middle. And so I just think with that defensive line in the regular season, like, it's Jalen Carter, Brandon Graham, Fletcher Cox, and Josh Sweat, like that front four alone, plus they have solid linebackers, is going to cause a lot of problems for a lot of teams. And I think that just that addition plus Nolan Smith makes that defense easily the best in the league, in my opinion, right now.
Yeah, I like Jalen Carter. That first play he had was insane. He just got in the backfield in like a second.
Yeah, no, he's insane. But for me, my pick would probably have to be Dorian Thompson-Robinson, the quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. What do you mean, dude? He's so solid. Like,
bro, no.
Yes, he is, bro.
He's a great preseason quarterback.
Dude, he's good.
That's all he is.
The question
will never be a starter.
The question was, who impressed you the most this preseason? What are you talking about? We're talking about the preseason. That was the question. That was the question.
Well, I don't understand what you have wrong with DTR though. Like,
bro,
what do you have against him?
Bro, he's been so solid. He shows poised. He can stand in the pocket. He can move his feet. He can throw.
He holds all the records at UCLA, bro. Like
bro, his balls are pretty. Right. He's poised. He's not panicked. Everything that we're seeing, like, is the downfall of Trey Lance. Is like he's like been showing the opposite. Like, he can stand in the pocket and get out the pocket. Like, bro, he's been if he can sit behind a good quarterback, for a couple of years and develop with a good
John Watson, they're gonna keep him. He's gonna be
the backup. They're gonna keep him.
Like, he won't. He won't be the backup this year. I don't think he'll be the backup this year, but he will be next year because they signed Josh Dobbs for that reason this year, and he's been in the offense.
Bro, Josh Dobbs is like a Madden player.
No, he's a person that understands the offense, can make the throws, and has proven it on the NFL level this year. Yeah. And this is a team that's made to win.
I'm sorry, I'd rather have DTR in there as my backup QB.
You know nothing about Josh Dobbs.
Yes, I do. Tennessee. That nigga, he was nice as hell. Like, he was so nice at Tennessee.
Yes, and he was at the Steelers, and he's been with multiple teams where he's been a serviceable backup. Like, we don't even.
I know he's been for a while.
He's won like one game, bro.
Dobbs is so smart. Like, he's one of the smartest minds.
Yeah, that does not matter. He is not good.
It does. It does. You want to. It does. Yeah, then he can.
Like, I'd rather have someone, a young person like DTR who's electric on his feet too. Like DTR has something that Josh Dobbs can't do. He cannot move. Josh Dobbs cannot move.
So if you
Detroit-
can move, you're going to be good in the NFL.
Yeah, so
He-
Jared Goff isn't good. Kirk Cousins is bad.
No,
Like,
for a
Kirk
backup,
Cousins is ass. Kirk sucks.
okay.
like
Yeah.
dude,
Top
So
10
you're saying if
quarterback
you
in the
can
league.
move, you're good.
you have to
No,
change.
I'm not saying that.
You-
I'm not
you
even saying he
look
needs to
at
be a
your
backup right now.
offense.
I just answered the question. The question was who's impressed preseason.
Yeah.
All I did was answer the question. He's been
No,
a pretty
DTR has been one of the best players in preseason.
like that's all I was
easily.
doing. I didn't say he's the greatest or whatever you
He's
finna make it seem like.
McKay, bro. What has he done wrong? Like, what has he done
you
wrong?
can
Literally
watch
nothing
his
wrong.
games and you can just see he will never be a starter in the NFL.
And I can say the same thing about Nick
9
Herbig.
for
I
10
can
in
say the
his
same
first
thing.
No, you
I
can't,
can say
bro.
the same thing. He's
He would-
undersized for his position, first off.
He went 9 for
Like-
10. How's 9 for 10 bad? That's 90% completion.
Bro,
Like
Bro, he's
This-
not good. Like,
So
you can
so
just
hey,
watch
so
him.
Bryce Young's gonna be bad. CJ Stroud had a terrible first start, and
No,
Anthony
bro, they
Richardson.
show
So
flashes. Like
he's
DTR
looked
showing
better.
nothing.
DTR has looked better than
Dude,
all
I'm
three of the
sorry.
quarterbacks he just named.
I'm
What
sorry.
are you talking
Stroud,
about?
CJ Stroud played 2 drives and he threw a pick on one of them. He did not show flashes. Like, I'm sorry, I'm a CJ Stroud fan, but DTR
Bro,
looked
McCabe is done. Every person McCabe just named that said, "Oh, they show flashes." DTR has better preseason than every single one you just named.
No,
You just go off names and all
I'm
of this.
going off guys
No.
who are actually going to get playing time.
You're going off guys who was picked
He
high.
just-
because
I'm
they
going off
just-
guys who are going to get playing time.
Alright,
so
bro.
Answer
so
the
then so
Nick
so if we're
Herbig
going
might
off
not.
pick tide, so Kenny Pickett's not that great.
Nick Herbig
then.
won't what?
Why wasn't
He might
Kenny
not get
Pickett a
playing
top
time.
player?
He's guaranteed to get a sack this year.
Okay, a sack.
Guaranteed.
Sad.
He will get a sack.
Oh my god! And I'll give him a cookie. Like I don't give a damn. If he gets, like what?
He's going to do some instead of just sit on the bench.
All right, bro. We'll
Hey,
see.
you never know. You never know. But either way,
Man, yeah.
we'll move on to another division, the AFC East. And who do you guys think is the favorite heading into the season?
the favorite's obviously the Jets. Like, come on now.
No.
I would not say obviously.
Obviously, Jets.
The
Not
favorites will
obviously,
still be
bro.
the Bills. I would still give it to the Bills, but it's a
Yeah.
tough division.
No.
Me personally, I have the Patriots
Yeah,
coming
bro.
out, but if I'm gonna have to answer the question, I would
You
give
got
it
the
to
Patriots winning it?
I got the Patriots coming out for sure.
Trash.
Shock the world. Trash is insane.
Trash.
Bro, not good.
It could be the worst
Anyways,
team.
but to answer your question, Drew, I'd say the Bills is the favorites. I mean, the Dolphins, they're dealing with all these injuries before the season even starts, obviously. I mean, but the Jets, I don't know. I think that's either going to go really well or really bad. I don't think there's any in between, honestly.
Yeah, I think for me, I got the Bills. I think just they have so much experience together. I think this is like their last year before, like they got Von Miller back, they got some of their guys back. Like
It's
Trey
1 year
White's
too
coming
long, though.
back,
I think
like-
it should have been blown up this year, honestly.
this year, I think
Yes.
they're all in. Like this, it's either this year or not. So I think and I like Josh Allen as the MVP this year. So I think they're gonna do good in the regular season, but I think they'll win 13 games and get 1 or 2 seed in the AFC and win the division. But I don't see them doing none in the playoffs just because of how they've looked in the recent playoffs. Like they've always just haven't been able to do good. But regular season and like winning division wise, I like the Bills. I mean the Jets, they look all right. I mean,
Well, I mean, heading into the
They're-
season, we thought it was going to be a three-headed monster, and now, like, with all the injuries and everything that's happened with the Dolphins, they've kind of
Yeah.
just fallen off the face of the earth in terms of, like, just attention and media, because it's like you lose half your playmakers that you just gained, and it's like, that's kind of tough.
I got
And
the
even
Jets.
even their young running back they drafted, Devon Achane, went down and was carted off the field yesterday, so
yeah,
it's
he
like,
was supposed to be really good.
on top of that, they have two of the most injury-prone running backs in Raheem Mostert and Jeff Wilson. So it's like you never know what happens with that team.
Yeah, it's gonna be a long season for them, honestly. But I think just if you just blurt out, "Oh, I got the Jets," you're just going into the media hype. I feel like.
Oh, I'm not even like why not? Why not the Jets? The Jets have a top 5 defense.
Yeah, the Jets have I like their defense a lot, but I just think they're new.
They've been proven to stop
Yeah,
Josh
and they beat Josh Allen last year with
Josh-
like
whooped him, like got him out the stadium, like real quick. They got a good QB, a legendary QB, Garrett Wilson, a dude who led rookies in receptions and receiving yards with 3 different QBs throwing to him. They can't throw a deep ball. So he's just getting with a good target. They got veterans on the team in Lazard, Cobb, A-Rod, obviously.
and
They just gotta-
Mecole.
Yeah, they just got to figure out their O-line situation and just stay healthy.
And the funniest thing is, like, that O-line situation isn't that bad. Like, people put it
It's
to be
not that
worse
bad.
than it is. Like, they have a
They're
lot of
just saying that
solid
'cause of Hard
players.
Knocks.
They got,
And-
they got,
They're
they got
no,
like
they're hurt. They just
It's
They're like,
yeah, the injuries is the
they're
problem.
they're
old.
like recent
Dwight
first round
Brown.
pick O linemen.
Yeah, Mekhi Becton's like
Becton,
and that guard Elijah
you know,
was it
one guard,
Vera
yeah.
Tucker? Yeah,
Yeah.
like it's a solid old line, but like we mentioned, like injuries has been a very big problem for him.
Hey, hot take on the Jets. Hot take on the Jets. Very hot take, but I wouldn't be surprised if at the end of the season Lazard ends up being the wide receiver 1 over Wilson.
Who?
Alan Lazard.
You think Alan Lazard is going to be the number one wide receiver for the
I could
Jets?
see
That's
Lazard with
the
wide receiver
dumbest
1
thing I've
over
ever heard you say.
That is the
Garrett
dumbest
Wilson.
shit I've ever heard in my
What?
life.
I need reasoning for that though. I need reasoning.
I mean, well, obviously, an obvious reason would be his connection with Rodgers already coming from the Packers. Like,
But it's
he
always
was-
the
he didn't
rookie
look back.
year.
He was.
Dude, that's so then why did when Justin Jefferson came to Minnesota, why didn't
Why didn't
Thielen
what?
have more
Thielen?
catches and
Because
stuff
Thielen,
than
that was like the first year of Thielen starting to regress for one.
No, bro.
Yes, it was.
That was.
Yes, it was. The year they traded Diggs
Dennis
away.
didn't play
and
like
drafted
that
Jefferson.
first couple.
That was the first
like,
year of him regressing, coming off them hammy injuries. First off, and then Jefferson was just Jefferson. Like Jefferson.
But my thing is when you say that, I understand where you're coming from, but also when Randall Cobb came back to the Packers and all of them were young rookie wide receivers, like it was Lazard and that tight end, like what's his face, Tunyon, like that was their only weapons, and like Cobb barely got any catches that entire year. Like he was used very sparingly.
I get that, and obviously, I said it's a hot take. I didn't say like, oh,
Yeah,
this is.
I can honestly see it with the offense, like and Lazard
Right,
being
that's all I
growing
was
into
saying,
it.
like,
But
was
I'm not
like,
gonna say I would never say that Garrett Wilson's not gonna have a good year, because if Garrett Wilson has any
didn't
sort
say
of
that.
a sort
didn't
of a
say
good
that.
year,
I can see them. I can see them both being 1,000-yard receivers. Honestly, I mean, it's Aaron Rodgers. He's like a top 5 QB of all time. I could 100% see him having 2,000-yard receivers. I'm just saying, I wouldn't be surprised.
But
I'm just saying, I wouldn't be surprised if Lazard had 1,200.
so you think, but you know Garrett Wilson's better than Lazard.
100%.
Okay,
My thing is, I'm just saying, I wouldn't be surprised if Lazard
the
ended up
connection. Bye to McCabe, and we'll move on to some college football talk. So we'll start with sleeper teams in college football. There's a lot of teams that are being talked about. The preseason poll came out, and I wanted to get your guys' sleeper team. Who you think is going to be good this year that's not being talked about enough?
In college football, sleeper team. Honestly, I know Texas will be really good, and that's obviously a talked about school. But like, I think honestly, my pick will have to go to Colorado. I mean, obviously they get covered a lot in media because of Deion Sanders and everything, but I don't think they get covered as far as of how good they would be or like their expectations on the season. I think the expectations, I think is in the middle. I think some expectations are high for some people and very low for others, with like the transitioning of that program over there. But I think they'll shock the world. I think they honestly will be competing for the championship in that conference with USC.
Yeah, I can see them having a solid season. I don't know about competing for the Pac-12 like championship, but I definitely can see them being 500 or better because of the fact that they have so much talent on their roster. And speaking of talented rosters, my team I would say is Washington. The Huskies were very solid last year. They're nearing the top 10 in most polls, but they're not covered at all. Like they're just a team that they're just like, oh yeah, they could be top 10 or they could be like 15th this season. And they have a quarterback in Michael Penix that I think could be a dark horse Heisman candidate. And I think the offense, everybody's older, everybody's coming back. Like I just think that team plus the defense is going to be challenging for their conference and pushing for a college football playoff bid. I don't think they will get it, but I think they will be close to a 10-win team this year.
I think Ole Miss. Ole Miss is a big sleeper team. Team in the SEC where they have a top QB that was a couple years ago in Jackson Dart, coming out of high school. They have that running back Jenkins, true freshman last year, ran for over 1,000 yards, demon. And they always have good wide receivers, good like solid just country boys. And I think they have an opportunity to spoil a couple teams in the SEC. With Lane Kiffin's team coming back, it's the exact same team plus a couple transfers from the portal, and they always do super good in recruiting. So I honestly think Ole Miss could be that team that would give like Bama some trouble, LSU some trouble, like down the line in the season.
Yeah, and Judkins, like he had one of the probably the quietest, like best seasons of college football overall for as like a running back. Just is concerned, like if you put his numbers like next to Blake Corum or Bijan Robinson, like they're not like out of the realm of possibility of being near that. Like he's up there as one of the best running backs in college football, and just like you mentioned, this is perfect because he's like a sleeper player in a sense. Like we're talking about sleeper teams, but he isn't talked about enough for how good he did in the SEC in his first year. But
Who
yeah,
who you said Washington, Andy?
yeah, I said Washington is for mine. As
Wow.
everybody dismisses Washington, they're up in the corner of the United States, and they're not that normalized. Their media doesn't cover them, and no media really covers them at all. So it's like,
12, bro.
yeah.
Dude, but like
I think, dude, my thing is with the Pac-12, like, I think this is like going to be their best year in the last decade, like, as a conference, the year before it all breaks up. Like, it's going to blow up, obviously, but like, I think they have so many good teams this year that it's just going to be sad to see that conference just dissolve a year after it's really good.
teams are so good,
Like,
but
yeah, there's so much talent in the conference itself. Like Oregon's talented, Washington's talented, Colorado's talented. Like Arizona State and Arizona, you can't shoe under the rug. Like they can win some games too. USC,
Yeah,
yeah,
UCLA. Like
but
Arizona.
there's there's so many good teams in the conference itself. It's just literally all of them are leaving pretty much, and it's going to be a conference of four teams come the end of the season. But
Yep.
yeah, we can
Better
move on.
find, those 4 teams better find them a home.
Yeah, they're talking about the American Conference, which is a very large downgrade. But moving on, we'll get to who do you guys think wins the Big Ten Conference this year in football?
them boys, them boys, Ohio State, of course. Got to get through Michigan this year because I mean they're in the same conference.
Best game in college football all season,
Do they
end of the
switch
year.
this year?
No, so
Well,
this year it's yeah, after this year. This will be the final time like the conference will most likely be decided between like in a regular season game between them.
that stuff
Because
sucks because I hate
because
like
well no, because next year like they could play in the last week of the season, but they could also both be in the championship game and one be with one loss.
that'll be lit. That'll be crazy.
Like they play back-to-back weeks
It's like
against each other.
it's like Loki don't want to win that first game because it's hard to beat the team twice.
Yeah. D, who do
Like
you got?
It's very hard to beat a team twice. But honestly, I think there's only 2 right answers in this situation, either Big Ten. I mean, either Michigan State or Ohio State.
You mean
Not
Michigan?
Michigan State, either
Yeah.
Michigan or Ohio State, my bad. But
I
yeah,
feel
either
like
one of
it's
the
like
two.
not
I'm
that
not,
clear, dude.
huh?
It's really not that clear, like bro. Like, dude, Penn State's won Big Ten like championships like in the last like 5 years.
Yeah,
Like,
and they
those
have really good teams, but both of those schools, Ohio State and Michigan, they both have like really good returners, first off. And then as far as just like pure talent, bro, like I don't think it's close. I mean, those 2 teams, I mean, like Penn State, like imagine them in college football. Like when the last time have they been to the college football playoffs? Like just think about like that. Like
Have they ever? The
I
college
don't
oh,
know.
football playoff.
So it's like Ohio State and Michigan is bringing talent that's like going to like the playoffs
Yeah.
in a 14 playoffs.
So
So
who
it's
do
like
you got? Who do you got? Who's your team?
honestly, just because I'm like a huge Marvin Harrison Jr. fan, I would go Ohio State.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna be different. I'm different. I have a different answer than y'all. I have Michigan. I think they're going to win it this year. I don't think that JJ McCarthy will be like the best quarterback of all time, but they have the best running back tandem in Donovan Edwards and Blake Corum,
I'm
and they have a
sleeping on JJ, bro.
I no, I'm not sleeping on it. I'm just saying I don't think he's going to be the best quarterback in college football this season. I think he's going to be a good quarterback, but I don't think he's going to be the best you've ever seen. Like he would do enough for that
Like
team to
people don't give
succeed.
him credit. People don't give him credit. Like, dude, like Michigan was not beating Ohio State like at all.
Yeah.
They were not beating Ohio State. Like he's the QB out of like all these QBs and stuff like that. Out of all these hardball teams, that is actually beating Ohio State, and people sleep on him so much for his like because he had one dud. He led that team all the way there, beating these crazy hard teams, beating Ohio State. Like I honestly feel like I feel like he doesn't get talked about enough because was a top prospect coming out of high school, and he's just flourishing in John Harbaugh's system. Got
I
him
do,
back.
yeah. And that's why I have them. I think that Harbaugh's done enough as a coach. I like their defense this year. I like their team overall. And then that running game paired with just a solid quarterback coming back from his first like chance to actually be a starter in the offense, like I think they can only get better. And then on the other side, Ohio State's coming in. This is going to be their first year with whatever quarterback they decide to play. So it'll be interesting to see how that works out. But we just talked about two of the best running backs in Edwards and Corum in college football, and I wanted to get your guys' beliefs. Who do you think will be the best running back, in college football this season?
I'm gonna say it again. I really think Jenkins has a possibility. Braylon Allen, out of Wisconsin, could be really good because he's returning, and he might be the first running back taken off the board next year. And I think Travion Henderson obviously has a chance, but I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sticking with Michigan here. Like, I think Corum came back with a purpose. Like, he could have been a top pick in last year's draft. Like, would have been one of the first running backs off the board. He decided to come back. He wanted to make a name for himself, like at his school, and bring back that glory to Michigan as a whole. And even with Donovan Edwards there in the backfield, I just think that Corum's ability to make plays when nothing's there, and he has a good offensive line, like it's just a perfect situation in an offense that likes to run the ball, and I think he does it again and repeats and does even better than what he did last year. But
Agree.
you want to give anything or no?
Go ahead.
No, I think Braylon Allen's also a sneaky one that Mike mentioned also because that offense is going to be so much different than the last few years, but it's going to be so much better for him as a running back because there's going to be more holes opened. They're going to be bigger, and that dude is one of the fastest, strongest, smartest running backs in all college football, and he's going to get the chance to show it off, like just with a new offensive system in general.
Who's the Gophers running back this year?
It's multiple. So Sean Tyler's the top right now, but there are three other dudes that are young coming in: Zach Evans, Max Grand, and one more.
Who's that?
He's a younger running back that they're bringing in. He's been very good in like the few weeks of camp I've seen. So it's like it's going to be running back by committee. Don't get me wrong. So like, there's not going to be one guy, but the offense as a whole is better than it was last year. Like the tight end, Brevin Spenford, has never been better, fully healthy still. The wide receivers, they brought in two transfers that are going to step in, Spencer and Crooms. Then they have Ottman Bell as well. And they have Daniel Jackson. Yes, he's still there. He tore his ACL last year, so he missed an entire year of football. So he got his eligibility. But him and Daniel Jackson are returning from last year's team. Plus, you had two more receivers. Kelly Ekmanis is in the offense another year. I think it's a good year for the Gophers. I just think the schedule is too hard for them to, push the boundaries of winning the Big Ten.
Yeah, dude. The recruiting. Oh no, bro.
Hey, they got the best recruit in Wisconsin coming in next year. So an O lineman, which of all people.
Oh, I thought it was someone that was special.
No, it is special though, because O linemen in Wisconsin usually never leave the state. Like that has been a breeding ground of some of the best players in the NFL. Like Ramchek's from there. Like there's a lot of talent on the offensive line.
Isn't that usually the Gophers like best players, O linemen?
Yes, but we're getting them from all across the country. Like we take it from California, from Florida. Like we'll recruit the whole country wide. But Wisconsin itself, like its homegrown talent on the offensive line has been insane. Like over the last decade plus. Finally, we'll get into some NBA talk. This is probably Deontez's favorite part of this segment. I don't know. I'm not going to speak for him, but there's a lot of good players we saw during the preseason in that summer league, and I wanted to get your guys' takes on who the potential breakout candidates are this season.
I think Evan Mobley's brother, honestly, Isaiah, like that he balled out in the summer league, and they really do need like another player that is like can play defense, run, and hustle, and that's exactly what he is. And he has a jumper. Like he could shoot better than his brother. Like he was like taking confident shots, like hitting them, taking his mid ranges, getting to his spots. I think he has like big potential to get some minutes in the rotation,
Who do you
and that's
think on
second unit.
on that level though? I understand like he could be another like role player, but I'm talking about like they're taking that jump from like just a
Oh,
young player to a star now, like a Cade Cunningham, not yeah, Cade or like even
That's funny.
probably Kane.
That's funny because that's literally mine. I had two in mind. I had one. Well, Cade is my one that I think is gonna break out to like a superstar. But I'm gonna go one at a time. One that I think can break out maybe into a role player, even like a little under star. That's all from Summer League. It'll be hard to happen because of his situation. But Trey Mann from OKC, the point guard,
Yeah,
I mean, I just think, and I think he's always done this since he was drafted. He always just shows flashes of like stardom, like not superstar, but just like a really solid, like a Jordan Poole level type of player. Like can really turn it up. I mean, definitely would need a better jump shot, more consistent three, but he has the handle on the string. He will jump with you at the rim and will put you in the rim. You better believe it. Could play defense and guard the one and the two. I mean, he's probably not big enough to guard the three. But I think if he's traded in some type of trade situation or someone else's moves on that OKC team, because they're very deep, obviously, but if he gets somewhere where like that backup point guard role, I think he could blossom a lot. And then with Kay Cunningham, I think he's just ready, man. I think he's been dealing with injuries early in his career, even though he's still early in it. But I think he's just ready to go. I think he likes the roster a lot better now. I think the Pistons are going to be sneaky in the East this year.
I
I
don't even think
honestly think,
I don't think it should be sneaky. I think they should be expected to be good.
yeah,
Like
I
all
think
those
so.
young talent that they like the Thunder, they've compiled a lot of young talent, and now it's
Yeah,
just putting that
I
together.
think,
And you have
yeah.
one of the best coaches in the NBA, and Monty Williams. Like,
Money Williams, yeah, I think they finished the season in like either the seventh or 18 playing game, or I think they even sneaked to that sixth spot where they avoid the playing game. But I think Cade, yeah, I think he's coming for it this year. I know like a lot of stuff been going on this summer. I know he was like put into the role of like impersonating Luca at the USA camp in case they ran into Luca over in the whole FIBA thing. So yeah, I think he's coming to ball. I think he's coming to be a leader. He looks a lot bigger as far as strength, his body, like he's been working out. He's growing into his frame. I mean, he's a 6'8" point guard. He can shoot the ball, dribble, post up. He has a little bit of everything. So if he peaks this year, I think he's even an all-star.
Mike, what about you? You got any or not?
they honestly Jalen Green. I think Jalen Green has that like it's that time like third year same like Kate. It's that time like where like okay like you've been in this role for a little bit. You've been scoring garbage time like garbage points. Let's start making those points mean something, and they're gonna need that immediately with Ime and Duke and Doku as their coach, and they have vets on the team and people like surrounding him because they know he's going to be the star of the team. And I think he has the possibility to honestly have to average like 20 like 20 like 25 26 like take that jump where he's the main number one in the offense. He may did that, sprouted Jalen Brown like to a whole nother level. I think he can do the same thing with Jalen Green.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. Especially like you mentioned, Ime Udoka, whole new system just as a team in general. And you saw young players flourish with the Celtics when they're under him, and there was already players around them. And so I think it's a good person. I think they will make the playoffs. I think they'll be a play-in team, is in my opinion. But I don't think they're going to make any noise in a sense because while they did sign all those guys for a lot of money, like I don't think they were the best guys they could have gotten for Udoka's system, but we'll move on. We got get rid of one defender. NBA Central put out a graphic that contained JJJ, Anthony Davis, Draymond Green, and Bam Adebayo, and you have to get rid of one defender. Who you guys getting rid of?
If we're looking at this, so we're looking at this just as far as defender, not a
Yeah,
player.
just defending.
I would
I'm
have
gonna
to go.
get rid of
I would have to
Draymond.
go Bam.
Now I got to get rid of Draymond.
No, you're tweaking.
No,
Draymond has multiple defensive player of the years.
there's one.
Draymond, he don't got two. He got one. Well, that's more than Bam. So that's
Bam's
still
trying to get it. That's his goal this year.
right.
I think
First of
like
all, he's undersized for his size, which is fine. So is Draymond.
he moves, he guards everything. He's jumping at everything. Dude, their defensive rating, in the regular
That's not
season.
because of him though. They have good defenders on the Heat.
Dude, he
Like,
is the paint. Like, dude, you need to watch Bam, I guess. Like, dude, he's a force.
I
Like,
watch him and I like him a lot. He's a great defender. He struggles on offense because he's undersized.
like he's a double machine, bro. Like what? Like, dude,
He
he's
is. But we're talking about
player.
we're talking about defending. Like Draymond.
Like Draymond's older, bro. I don't see like Draymond's not.
But okay, so that's what I'm saying. Like, are we looking at this as of like right now or get rid of defending
now, bro?
based on like because Anthony Davis don't be doing none of in the
You
playoffs.
mean?
In the playoffs, he was insane. He had an insane defensive run this year in the playoffs. The regular season, he was not on any of that.
Bro, he arguably, bro, like at the start of the year before he got hurt, the first time.
Always before he got hurt. We're gonna say this shit about his whole career now.
Oh, it's just like, dude, he was like
before he got hurt, his whole damn career.
Like, no, but he's putting the pieces together. You saw him. You saw his Insta. You see him. He looking big.
No, to that man. It's
Looking big, man.
Yeah, but hey, I think that you can't go wrong. I think all four of them are great defenders, but I'd have to agree with Deontay with Bam. I think Bam would have to go.
Draymond, the heart and soul of that dynasty.
Yeah,
defense.
like
that dynasty defense don't even run. It's like he the motor. The car don't run without it.
And even though I hate Draymond, just in general, Boston fan, like it's pretty obvious why. But like other than that, like
no, Andrew
the finals because
credit, bro. Wiggins is like
Andrew Wiggins. Do you not remember watching the finals against Celtics where Draymond did all his stuff?
Bro, Wiggins is the Tatum and Brown stopper.
No, but even before Wiggins was there, Wiggins wasn't there the whole time though. Like Draymond was great.
Why you hate Draymond though?
Do you not remember his entire series against the Celtics in the finals?
I'm just like, I just feel like you're not understanding.
No, he wasn't even playing well. If you go look at his stats, he was just annoying players and like being extra after plays, technical fouls, stuff like that.
People don't realize how big of a role that play.
He wasn't doing that much though. Stephen Curry beat us like single-handedly. Stephen Curry averaged insane number. I think it was like 30 plus.
Bro, Wiggins beat y'all. He put Jason Tatum in his nail
he put belt to ass, bro.
That definitely was no. If you go watch the games, Jason Tatum beat himself. He couldn't make shots, like just open shots.
He was Wiggins, bro. That length was getting in his head. Like Wiggins was on buddy, like stank on you know what. Like
so what was Brown? Where was Brown then?
I don't.
Who was guarding Brown exactly?
All right, Klay Thompson. Klay Thompson, a lead defender too.
He's an elite defender too, bro. Like, come on.
Don't make that face.
I don't know about that.
The first 3 rings, Klay Thompson was put. They played an elite point guard every year. Klay Thompson guarded the elite point guard every game for like 4 years. They did. They covered up Curry. They put him on Shumpert. They put him on Shumpert. They put him on Andre Roberson on the Thunder. They put him on. I can keep going. Every team they played, Curry never guarded the elite point guard. Klay Thompson is elite. Don't do that.
So maybe for those 3 years, but not in that series against us.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Clay's coming off for an ACL.
Yeah, but that's what we're talking about. I wasn't. No, but we weren't.
Like guarding Jaylen Brown, and just he couldn't do nothing.
No, but that's Jaylen Brown is a whole. But either way, move on.
The Warriors was just better. But back to this. Get rid of a defender. I think I would say Bam. I think everyone else just possesses more. Jaren Jackson Jr. is him. Anthony Davis has been a great defender for like 12 years. Like, so yeah. I mean, everyone here is pretty much proven, including Bam, but Bam don't have the accolades, so I think that helps too. Helps make that decision.
Hey, so final topic of pod number 7 is there's 4 backcourts that were put together by NBA Central into a graphic. It's Steve Nash, Devin Booker, Kyrie Irving, Donovan Mitchell, the Blazers, Brandon Roy, and Damian Lillard, and then finally Shea and Russell Westbrook. I wanted to get your guys, if you have to pick one of the 4, who is the best?
Now listen to me. I don't know if anyone's going to pick Portland with Dame and Brandon Roy, but for y'all viewers, in case someone does, go do your homework on Brandon Roy right now.
You said if they don't or they do?
I said I don't know if anyone's gonna pick the Blazers, but in case someone do, go do your homework on Brandon Roy. He was a bucket. He was insane. And pre-injuries, before the injuries,
No, I know, but we're picking the best backcourt here.
no, I
So
know, I know. I'm
yeah,
just saying
so
it for
they
the
should,
viewers.
be picking them, is what you're saying.
No, I'm just saying in case one of us pick the Blazers, because you know if we pick the Blazers, people are gonna be like, "Oh, who's the other guy?" Or Brandon Roy. Like a
Yeah,
lot of people don't know who Brandon Roy is
yeah, and
because
definitely
he
at
got
his peak was one of the best players in the league.
at
Like,
his peak, he was insane.
yeah.
Real Tracy McGrady vibes.
Okay, but
Like,
who's your actual pick though?
I don't know. It's tough. Like
it's tough, man. Like,
it's very tough. I mean, you got Steve Nash. Steve Nash, two-time MVP, a great point guard. Put him with Booker, who doesn't miss.
the Steve Nash, like, it give me the Chris Paul vibes. Like they not really that much. Like, I feel like it's just Chris Paul.
Steve Nash got championships though.
No, he don't.
He don't.
He,
No,
He
yeah.
didn't get one with the.
no,
He
Kobe,
didn't get one.
Kobe,
Oh,
Kobe.
why I thought he got one.
No, Kobe.
The funniest thing is there's only one person on here that's really known for like winning a championship, and that's Kyrie. Like,
Kyrie.
They ain't gonna swing the rock over there. They're not swinging the rock. If they
That's-
want to get
yeah,
the rock,
Yeah, that Cleveland with Kyrie and Donovan Mitchell, that's tough. Both.
I'm gonna go Russ and Shea.
Yeah, I think
Yes.
the games complement each other the best.
I think it's Russ and Shea or Steve Nash and
Nash
Booker.
and
Those are
Booker,
the
'cause
top two.
Steve Nash and Booker complement each other a lot too. Because Steve Nash, you know, don't
I
need.
would lean Booker and Steve Nash just because of how good Nash was at his peak and how good we've seen Booker be.
15 points a game and 10 assists. Like, what?
Dude, he was the best point. He was an MVP, like at the
Over
top,
over
like the
over
best.
triple double king.
He was-
Over triple double
okay.
king.
He was the
Yes.
best point guard. He was the best point guard of the
Kobe should
criteria,
have his MVPs. I'm sorry, Kobe.
of the criteria
Kobe
what the
should-
point guard was back then. Like
Kobe
averaging
should-
18 and 10 as a point guard back then was insane for them, obviously, but that's not gonna cut it. That's not it'll cut it. It'll be good now. It'll be
It's
good
Chris
now.
Paul.
It is Chris Paul. It's like Chris Paul right
It's
now. It's
Chris
be good now,
Paul.
but it's not gonna be nowhere near like a top 3 point guard.
Like, bro, it'll be Russ. It'll be Russ and Shea. Easy. Russ
I
and
wouldn't
Shea.
say easy. I think it would be close with the Booker and Steve Nash, but I would lean Russ and Shea. Just
Shea,
because
Shea dropping 30 points and he's a 2 guard. Russ led the league in scoring once upon a time. He's also the triple double king. So Shea might average like 35 with Russ. He might average 35 with Russ. Like Russ is like you got to think about it. Russ has had an MVP teammate, and he almost got PG at MVP. He was in MVP talks. Like Russ like elevates players like he does. Like if you believe in him. And I think Shea dropping 30 points a game.
That's two like really good rebounding guards. Like they both are great rebounding guards. So
that's why I feel like it's pretty easy. Like I feel like the triple double king,
and they're big. They're big too. Shea is like 6'6", Russ like 6'4", explosive above the rim player. Yeah.
Like it's one speed. And then you slow it down with Shea. Like they complement each other.
Yeah, I think that'd be a great 1-2 punch. I mean, I don't know. I'm really looking at this Dame and Brandon Roy though, because I know personally how nasty Brandon Roy was. I'm not sure if this is like
just like disappointment. Like I'm just
they
saying,
say at their best.
At their best, they're not beating Shea and Russ. Like Dame hasn't even won an MVP. Like what?
That's true.
Like so, it's just like that's like Dame ain't never won an MVP.
So who you going, Andrew? You going?
I was saying Nash, but now I'm thinking like those three. It's hard to choose between those. There's like I think that we're disrespecting like Kyrie and Donovan by not even mentioning them, but I think that they're not in the conversation.
The reason I won't mention them is because I don't want to say their games are too similar because they don't play it the same, but I just don't see the complement each other really because neither one has ever like averaged a lot of assists in their career. So neither one are known for getting other people involved this much. Kyrie's known for taking you home. Donovan Mitchell's known for taking you home. Like they can't take like I don't know, but we'll see.
Yeah, I think you can make an argument for 3 out of the 4. I just don't think, yeah, like you mentioned, I don't know how good of an argument you can make Kyrie and Donovan over the others.
Yeah, and they're both small. That's what I
Yeah.
don't like. They both 6'2" for real.
Who?
Mitchell and Kyrie.
Kyrie and Donovan.
They both for real 6'2".
Donovan's like 6'5".
Oh, Andrew, you hear this?
Donovan Mitchell's a shoe
Donovan
guard.
Mitchell might be 6'1" without shoes.
Donovan Mitchell, bro.
You are dumb.
You're joking, bro.
Oh, he might be 6'1" without shoes. He just jumps out the world.
He's 6'1", Mike,
Yeah.
according to the NBA stuff. Yeah.
What are you talking about? He's tiny.
Dude, he's
Hey,
not tiny.
He's
bro.
nice though. Like
Yes, he has a 16 wingspan will make him look like he
all
just
pro. Like, dude, he's
like-
doing. He's crazy.
he jump out the gym. He has a high elevation on his jump shot.
And the funniest thing is, like, he's what's referred to as a short king, like in the NBA, bro. Like 6'1" is tiny for the NBA, but it's it's like a tall height for just normal people.
Mike just called that. Mike said that man was 6'5", bro. He the shortest person on the whole thing out of everybody.
Oh, he's not 6'1", bro.
Yes, he is.
Yes, he is.
Oh,
I
that's
was giving him 6'2". He probably 6'2" with shoes. He's 6'1" without shoes. He's small, bro. He's really small for real.
He a 4-time.
Steve Nash is 6'3". Yo, I didn't know Steve Nash was 6'3".
Taller than Steve Nash, bro.
No, he's not.
He's
If you
not.
see, you got to
Oh,
see
no.
Nash's height when he was the coach of the Nets, bro. That dude is pretty tall. Like when he's just standing, like
Actually-
obviously when you're playing, he looks small compared to all the people he played with, but he wasn't small.
Yeah, but he's small.
4-time. Damn.
That'll do it.
Dude, he's
That's
weird.
that's episode 7 of Beyond the Scoreboard. Thank y'all for tuning in, and we'll catch y'all next time here
Yeah, yeah.
on YouTube, on whatever platform that you are on. Subscribe and like the video. Have a good one.